By 35.0.
What's up, Len? Where do you realtor at? What state? Oh yeah, I used to live in Dallas like 2 years ago. I used to live off Forest Lane, next to the what's it called? I don't know if you're down in Forest, but there's this like chicken spot like right in the corner of that street that's looks like a box. Oh, okay, never mind. Houston. That's cool. I like Texas. I'm thinking about going back. You do any trading? So this area is pretty tricky because there's two support areas that have been tested multiple times this morning, and it's taken us out quite a bit. This gray area and this green area. Right here in the bottom chart, there's a lot of reaction here and a lot of reaction here. So we have broken this upward trend, and so I'm thinking more sells to fill this area at the bottom here. But this is holding us up here, so it's kind of hard to tell. From if you can see clearly from your mobile, there's this R3 level that's being respected. This is a prior day resistance level. It has to do with some math to it, but it's called a Camarilla level, and it has to do with Fibonacci's for the prior day. I think it's a high or low, and it's being respected here. As you can see, we've broken above it, but we also reached this resistance level and went down. So now we're below this Camarilla level, so we're supposed to be looking for shorts here, but this price action has been keeping us above this, so this might be a really strong support for us to move back to the upside. So it's tough right here. So we do have volume above us and below us. It's just a matter of what direction the market wants to take us at the time. It looks like we're going up, which is respecting this Camarilla level. As you can see, it just peaked it, like just touched it, and then kind of like wanted to go down. So we'll see if we close above this, and it's going to kind of negate that level. But when we're looking at levels, we got to look for volume in these levels. And these horizontal blue bars is volume profile, and that's the best you can use in terms of determining price and where price was battled. So if you know a little bit about stocks, it's an exchange between buy and sell, right? Someone's buying, but someone has to sell it to you for you to buy it. And then vice versa, if you want to get out of your position that you're holding, you want to sell it, right? So you have to sell it to somebody to buy it from you. And so that's where these blue horizontal lines come into play is where did they buy and sell handoff a lot. And the darker the blue, or the bluer it gets, the more volume or the more times it transacted there. And those are the significant levels that you need to look for in terms of support, resistance, or in this case, this is you can see that this area, because there's higher, darker blues here, but there's like an emptiness in between here. So this is kind of a important area to look for. And when I say emptiness, there's like some emptiness here, which just means it's a lighter blue. So it looks like we're probably going to move towards the top because we have a 5-minute closure above this area, and we're crossing the downward trend formation here with this kind of like faded blue. So if we close above this, we should be able to move towards the upside a little bit to catch this 21.879 about here. So we should be moving up there, and that will be like a scalp. Or we can blow past that and then like make our scalp into like a nice longer play. And it is more of a longer play because we are moving in the 5-minute perspective. Oops. In the 5-minute perspective, upward. Like that. And this white candle, which means up, green, was above the previous level of the previous candle. So there's a little bit more of an upward trajectory based on that. But price action here is showing that this might be continuing higher, just based on the candle dynamics or the definition of this candle here. But it could reverse, because what this actually means is it opened in this level. The candle closed here, opened here and then closed above. But for it to open and then move all the way up here, as you can see, there's a lot of wicks here, and then close below that, there's kind of some strength to push us down. And that's kind of what you have to look for in terms of like candle mechanics of wicking. It's like pushing us down, which means people are selling us below, but we closed where we opened. So there's a little bit more buyers here, but so that's like a 80% buy, 80%, yeah, 80% buy, 20% sell opportunity in terms of probability there. But there's always a chance that it could reverse on us in that shape of candle, like right here, this candle right here. This candle right here is the same as this candle and the same as this candle. As you can see, that there's a probability of it to reverse, reversed. There was probability here, now it's reversing. So it's kind of, probability standpoint. So this might be like we broke out of this red area, and then you always hear our break and retest. This is what it might look like, but we have to look like we retrace into volume. And so that's why we're kind of touching this red area here, is this is where the volume's at. And when volume is being retested, it means that people, like let's say if we're in a long, people are getting out of their short positions. So for people to buy, it comes into like a first in, first out like basis in exchanging buy and sell. So if someone's in a sell, but it's going up, so they need to get out, so someone has to buy, but all the sells are below us, so the price will go below us and then move up once all of these sell people are exhausted, and then it moves up to a buy. So we might be moving up from here, depending, because there's a break, retest, and this is where the volume is, and this is the R3 level, which is the previous day Fibonacci based on some highs and stuff. So look at that, it just moved up from here. So hopefully this closes and moves us to continue to the upside from here. It's pretty strong. So we'll see if it moves up. So this is a downward candle, so what we want to see is a confirmation of a white candle above that. So I should wait for confirmation on the white candle side. Welcome back. Okay, so we are back here in the support area, but we have broken this trend, so there should be a downward play from here. If we don't, like I said earlier, this is a strong support that we were following, so I don't know if we'll break it this time, but we've touched it many times already, so this could be, but there's this gap here. So I'll try a buy, just a small one. Looks like we'll break through here, so this is a strong support. We gotta wait for the candle closure. You could buy here, but it's kind of below the, well, now it's above this trend, or below the trend, so it's kind of tricky still. We do have selling sentiment here, so it's this could be a sell into a further downside play. Yeah, it's respecting this upward trend, so this could be okay. It's struggling to get past the trend, so there might be a reversal here, as is this strong black candle. And it's right back to where the trend started. Oh shit. Whoa, what was that? What was that? A little bit of luck. So that looks like we reject maybe the bottom side play. But we're right back to where this R3 level's at. This is a strong area of price exchange. So it'd be probably smarter of me to just wait. But we're fucking degens. Every trader's a degen. Okay, so this candle, if it closes this way, kind of negates this candle. So then we're also in another point of indecision in the market, and it looks like we'll probably move towards the downside because this negated the upside, then negated the negated the downside with this upside, negated the downside with, the upside with this downside candle. So we'll probably look for more of a sell here. Yeah, that's this, like I said, this support area right here, and it was following and respecting this trend and this resistance level. And with these levels, that's where the majority of orders had transacted previous day at this area. So there's a lot of volume here for us to move past or get rejected from, because there's a lot of orders that are like handshaking, buying and selling in this area, and it looks like it's more majority selling from that area since we can't get past it. And this area is being a lot of buying because we can't get past this. So we're in a range right now, and let's see if we break here, because this is another time that we're here. And it broke the upward trend with this current price movement. So we're back here. So there is a more bias towards the downside for this area, but there's also what's called time and sales, is where the time of the sale of the buy or the sell was executed, and that comes in, first out. So we have to go through that first and then exhaust those and then move to the direction of the play. But there's a lot of orders here that's where, like, there's no definitive gap between buying and selling here. So this looks like it'll reverse here because of this candle. So I'll just keep it tighter a little bit. Mr. Hector Valdez. Oh, thanks for the follow. Hopefully you'll learn something from me. So this candle here looked like it'll reverse, but it's in a point, and I would say I would have bought here because this candle is at a support level. So that kind of like says, hey, like we want to go down and past this level, but it went back up. That kind of negates the move. And so it's like, as you can see, we broke past it, but it's struggling to move past it, and we pretty much might reverse here depending on time and sales or the aggression of buyers. So if you don't know anything about the left chart or how stocks move, I was telling earlier, I don't know how earlier you were here, but it's an exchange between two people, a buyer and a seller. And in this left chart, the red bubbles are aggressive sellers and the green bubbles are aggressive buyers. And this heat map where this orange and yellows are at, these are pending orders from like everyone else, like putting in a limit buy or a limit sell. So they're waiting to be executed there. And if there's a lot of aggressive buying, then people are buying positions from someone selling, right? So you have to kind of determine where they're selling at, or buying at, I mean. So we were buying here at the top, but as you can see, there was no movement to the top to break past this. So that means that's a resistance because more people are selling and people are buying those sells. It's kind of hard to explain a little bit because it's bilateral. And let me move my stops while this thing dumps. So we're here now. So we have to see if we respect and stay below this trend. And also below this R1 level, which is previous day resistance Fibonacci mathematics going on there. There is price movement here. This is going to reverse most likely because the majority of orders are transacting here. So that's why it's picking up a little bit. So if this reverses on us, then that makes sense because all the orders are struggling here. But there is majority sells. So what happens when there's a one-sided sell-off? Most of the time there's going to be a one-sided buy-in, and this is where it might happen if we stay. Oh shit. Oh shit. Who's talking? Trump is probably talking. Okay, so we're at our S2 level, which is a support level of Fibonacci from prior day, and this is a prior day low. So we're picking up here. Hopefully we stay dropping. Okay. Where are we? Okay, S3. If we reach S4, then that's probably gonna
Buy 38.0.
Okay, someone just bought a lot, so we'll bring this up a little bit. So we're at S3. This is where we can see a potential for reversal in normal aspects, but someone is talking. Someone is like tweeting or something. Someone tweeted something bad. Okay, we're gonna get stopped here, which is fine. We're in the support area range. So this S3, S4 is a
Buy 228.0. Trade. Instrument. Buy 105.
Buy 228. Holy crap. Let's kind of give this some room because it's going to have to pick up sell orders to buy this. 200 of them. So now there might be a one-sided buy-in from this. If this 228 order keeps us up. Doesn't look like it. It flipped. If the candle flipped, there might be more selling. Let's see if it closes white. Then I'll buy in again. If we get the one-sided buy-in, this is going to be pretty big. It's got to fill these one-sided sells. Just depends on the majority of the order book. So we got to get past this level to stay and continue to the upside. If you can kind of see the shaded blue right here. We got to get past and stay above this area to continue to the upside. Because if there's, that means that orders are being transacted and filled at these levels. And if we get above that, then there's gaps, and we have to move past the gap to fulfill the next order, fulfill the next order, fulfill the next order, and it'll be a big jump if we get past this purple level. So let's see if we move up past this blue, and if we do, then that's nice, but if we don't, then we continue towards the downside to fill these orders. So I guess this is time and sales. Let's try to keep and stay in this for a little bit. We're still in the green. So this is where the majority of orders are transacting, because this is the point of control, which is purple or magenta. If we stay above that, that's okay. So let's see if we stay above and then move past this gray, and then if we do, then that's cool. If not, then we'll still continue to the downside, and I should stop trying to buy in. Hopefully it moves up, because that'll be nice. Nice drop and then a nice pickup for this gap. Okay, we're reaching the purple. So if we can stay above the purple, then there's this dark area between the blues. That's the gaps between order flow. And so we have to move past that to get more orders to be fulfilled. So if you want to buy, the next order will be up here instead of over here, because we have exhausted these. So let's see if we can keep moving up. We gotta stay above it. There's a good candle here. We have buy pressure. We need to move up and stay up. If we move past this, it's going to be pretty high. It's going to be pretty fast. Doesn't look like we want to though. We're getting a lot of selling. And it's picking up. It's picking up here. As you can see, the little triangles. It's very heavy. But we do have one-sided selling at this point, so if we stay above here, there's one-sided buy-ins to fill these. Gotta get past it, gotta get past it. Doesn't look like we want to. Might be continuation. This might be the break, retest, and then continue down, because this S1 level is an area of volume, and this S2 is an area of volume. So we gotta get past this level now. And if we do, then that's kind of coinciding with this one-sided sell off to get the one-sided buy-ins. So hopefully we can do that. It's not moving as fast as I expect, so there is a lot of pressure towards the downside. So now if we move past this, then this is our next target, which is this blue where volume had accumulated, and that's about 21,830 here and 840. So this range here, I'm getting a lag. So we might be retesting this since we're heading towards the downside. This support area right here. So it might have been this super break and the retest, and this might be the retest if this is where the majority of the volume is. Hopefully not, because I want to keep going to the upside. We are in an EMA. This is an EMA. I don't know what EMA it is, but we're below it. We need to get past it now. I think this might be the retest. We're struggling here. Like I said though, this is near the level of S1, and these levels have to do with volume accumulation. Well, not accumulation, but transacted, because it happened in the past, which is yesterday. So if we can stay above this, I think that the rocket might launch above the EMA, but we're struggling. We are struggling. So the accumulation of orders are happening here, and this is that low. This is a level that's struggling to peak it because we touched it. We teased that. So if we do break, then the next level is here, because this is where the start of the block of this volume is. As you can see, there's like nothing here. Well, there is there, but in terms of percentage wise, there's not much. So yeah, you can see that the candle kind of just jumped a little bit. It's got to fill the emptiness. It seems like there's a lot of volume here though, so I guess there's more than what it looks like. But we are nearing the top of the EMA, so if we stay above that, hopefully it doesn't reject this, because we still have a lot to fill. And we might fill at this SR1 level, so this might be the end of the ship in this area. That's where the SR1 level is. But if we get past that, then that's cool. See, we're at the EMA and it's struggling. We are struggling. But there is more higher buy potential, because there was one-sided sell-off here, so the orders for anyone to buy or sell is here. Oh, our rocket, is our rocket coming? Got 30 seconds, and 30 seconds is a long time for all you ladies out there. 30 seconds is a long time. Thanks, JMS. Are you Japanese Maple Story? That was my shit back in the day. So we still have a lot of orders to fill that is a one-sided selling. So if we can keep going, then this would be probably our stop, if this is where things go and finish.
By 55.0.
Someone just bought
Trade.
55.
Instrument. By 51.
It's a lot. That's a bigger size order than the majority, percentage wise. So we'll probably struggle a lot here, as if this is a resistance or a support. We don't know that yet. It could be a resistance, one, because we are in an upward trend. We broke the upward trend, and now this might be an area of retest, which is in a retest, we're picking up orders that were like bag holders that don't want to be with the wave. So people sold here, and now people were probably bag holding, and now they need to get out because they're either break even or negative. This candle is either a continuation or indecision. This little doji here. So we have to wait until the next candle to understand which direction or bias that we should continue towards. But it looks like we are in an area of a previous downward trend. If you can see this very, very light teal color. So we might be respecting that, and that's why we're struggling to move past that. And it coincides with one of the last orders of the one-sided sell-off. So we might have some reaction here. So I'll just keep it tighter than that because it's a pretty big move. Look at that. Okay, baby. So if it reverses on us, that's cool, it's fine. This target might be the previous upward trend, is what it looks like it's trying to touch. This right here. I think we're almost out of orders though, and this is going to be where we're going to consolidate. As you can see, the orders are colorizing here. The heat map is getting hotter. R2. Let's see if we get past R2. Coincides with the upward trend where we broke. We are pretty far from the EMA, so there is stronger potential to move back down because we're too far away from the EMA. So we'll see. You see that? Fibonacci. Thanks, Mr. H. Thanks for the follow. Made money in that dip. Hell yeah, Mr. H. See, as we're struggling this level here. Very significant area. If you want to know what that is, if you want to look into it, it's called Camarilla levels. We're in the indecision area right now. Gotta wait till the next candle. Let's see what's the bias here. Very strong level because this is where we were prior, and it was resistance turned support, turned resistance, turned support. Now support maybe turning to resistance. Big struggle to get past this, so there's two indecision candles here, leaving us as the market undecided. But this could be the pattern of a buy, consolidation, and then buy again. We'll see. But if you see these types of patterns, that this initial candle, you should only expect that much of a move for this side of that candle. So what I'm saying here is that this is the candle of the move. You should only expect that side of the candle to move as well. That should be your expectation. Based on statistics. Hello friends, thanks for joining. See how it respected that size and we closed right next to that. That should be your expectation. This candle body should be your expectation for this candle body, for this stair step type pattern. Let's see where we're going. So we're past VWAP, and these are standard deviations of VWAP. This dotted blue line. We're too far away from this EMA, so I'm looking for a reversal maybe soon. And this is still pretty strong candle from a 5-minute perspective. We're just crawling up. Crazy. I might just leave my stop lower and then wait for a black candle on the 5-minute perspective, which is a sell candle. That's how I have it set up. I don't know where I got these. I just put it on today, which is this sepia colored thing, candles. I just pretty much had a bunch of indicators that I was looking for from the Apex, not Apex, from the NinjaTrader website. There's people who put their strategies and code up there. But the Camarillo levels are default because it's a well-known thing, like Fibonacci is. So that's a default level or default indicator that you could probably find in any platform you use. While we wait, I'm gonna see who tweeted. See who tweeted something. Trump Social, Truth Social. So nobody tweeted in the last 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes. NASDAQ news today. So we might get the reversal here. I wanna wait till the 5-minute turns black, but I don't know, I like it tight, that tight. Like I said, it could reverse here. "13 minutes ago, stock market today, NASDAQ, tread water and wait." 28 minutes ago, let's see. Yeah, we're probably gonna reverse here, which is fine. There might have been a earnings. Was there earnings release? U.S.-China trade talks continue. see. So Trump is supposed to speak today too, so that might have to do with preparation for that. Ooh,
Sell 31.0.
Someone sold. Let's see where we're at. The accumulation of volume is here. It wasn't like that before. So are we gonna hold up with more buys here? Nope. Man, this is a struggle bus. I don't know what happened for that to happen. Some kind of news event. Okay, this might be the reversal coming. Either that or it's a strong support to bring us up. But I don't think that's the case here. Yep. Close for 3,000 something. Whew. Crazy. Crazy. All right, let's so what we want to look for a sell is to break below this upward trend. See how we kind of respected that with that wick right here? We gotta wait for below that price action. So now our price struggle is going to be in this area because this is where prior orders were. So now we have to exchange that with people who are holding these, that were holding it forever. Let me try a kind of a quick sell here. There's an order that went in. So this might actually be more of a buy area because we still have this 2900 order here that was been pending for the whole morning, and that might pick up. So we're getting heavy volume here, so this is a struggle. Something's happening in this area for it to turn red. So this might actually be
by 78.0. Trade instrument by 78.
Yep. Let me try a short buy here. Ooh, so now there's a lot of volatility. That means orders are scattered, a little bit more scattered now instead of this in this
by 45.0.
So there's some buying going on. So when you talk about volatility, that's where pending order placement kind of goes into consideration, because let's say you want to buy here and then someone's trying to buy here. For you to get filled, like let's say you want 2 orders and both of these people have 1 order, you're going to move the price to this area and then it's going to move to this area and then this is where the current price is. But if someone wants to sell, like if you bought here and then you bought here, this is like you're in profit now. And if you want to sell, but someone's buying the next order is down here, then the price will move down. So it's not as tight like this. Now it's this distance rather than that. Oh shit, we're in a buy. Told you 2900 level was here all morning. So we might even touch this 2915. So 2915 is this one now. That coincides with R4. But we're also at this previous day high Fibonacci area. So let's see if we continue up. This is previous upward trend, so we might reverse here. So this area of the 2900, 21,900 might be an area of resistance. So this person might have bought a bunch of sells. Oh shit. Here we go again. All right, I'm gonna stop talking for a little bit. So we're above this level in the 5 minute and the 1 minute. No, we're not. We're struggling past it. So we're above this area. So I should move my stop to this level to see if we break above that, because there might be a retracement, which is filling orders that don't want to be in the same way as us prior to that move. So the upward trend angle indicator just moved, so we're in a steeper upward incline. So if we break this, then there's a higher probability of downward move because it's a steep one. Orders are picking up here, as you can see by point of control. We stay above point of control, then we should continue to the upside. And I should move up my stop below this, but I don't want to. Get some breathing room. If this candle closes below this, then this is potentially a reversal area. And we'll get stopped out pretty fast below us. So there's two indecisions candles. We're below this. Hopefully it moves up. It's gonna stop us out pretty fast because this level 21.885 is where our stop is at. Let's go below 8.2. This is where the orders are picking up. So if we are continuing to the upside, people will buy this. So the orders are here. Like the next ones to be handed out are here in this area. So then for me to buy, someone needs to sell it to me, and then these are where the sellers are at. So I will buy and then move up if the exhaustion of sells is lower than the buy potential after being sold to. I don't think that will be the case. We are below this upward trend. We need to stay above upward trend here. If this closes like this very nicely, I guess we're still above this previous upward trend. So that's the projection. Like you can consider it into like buying behavior. These are where the orders on average were placed That's why trend lines work. And for people who like hate on trends because they got ICT and bullshit like that, trend is the printing of the price execution over time. So trends do work because that's what the orders are either pending or need to be executed because they're bag holding for some reason. So now we're in a tough spot because we're in this little triangle like this. So we'll probably move down and then up. But if we move down and below, then that'll break the trend. See how we're struggling? So this point of control will be the important level to look for to see if we break below this upward trend projection from prior trend. But I think since it's climbing slowly, we should reach 29.15, 21.915. And if it does, it'll shoot up like that again. Good thing I got in here right before it shot up. That went crazy. See how we touched the point of control? So an order was there in terms of time of sales, the prior order that was needing to be let out next. So some order picked up here in this like more blue area. So that'll be another level to look at. That was a pretty big order. What was that? 21,900 again. Someone bought there. Pretty big buy. If we fall below that darker blue, I would say it's a bad sign. As in bad sign to reverse. So that's not good. That's a black candle. If we respect this though, that'll be nice. Oh, don't look like it. Don't look like it. Oh, are we? Are we respecting it? Do we have accountability and have respect?
By 39.0.
Someone bought. That'll bring us down a little bit. To fill these orders, 29.83. Man, that's low. Shit. Okay, so we're below this now, so we're probably gonna get reversed on. So let's let's see if this turns into a buy once this is filled. So we have 21.889. $283. Yeah, that's a big That's a big order area. So it did reject off that. So if all these reds and we're in an upward move, that means there's a buy coming. But like I said, we're below the upward trend. Let's see. If we make past that, then it's gonna shoot up again. Gotta wait though. So we're rejecting this potentially. We're still above point of control, which means the majority of orders are still upward biased. Let's try a sell. So this is a kind of a continuation candle, a longer wick towards whatever direction it was trying to go to. So let's see if that continues, which means it's going to continue up. But like I said, in terms of candles mechanics, we opened, went all the way up because someone was buying, and then a lot of sellers were strong enough to push that buy, and it closed it right here. So there's a potential to go to the upside for that because it was more up.
Sell 282.0. Trade. Instrument. Sell 105. Sell 53.0. Trade. Instrument. Sell 105. Sell 30.0. Trade. Instrument. Sell 53.
But we're here, so this might act as a support. If this big red turns into like upward movement, then that's more buying. So we need to wait to see if the candle is a break retest. See how that was a lot of selling here, but we're kind of hovering here. So this could mean there's a buy coming, like upward movement, because someone sold. Remember, aggressive selling is red. Someone sold to a buyer. So this buyer might reverse us. See how it's moving up? This might be a reverse. Might reverse on us here. But there's a lot to consider because we also have to consider how many orders are here and who's in that, who's the majority in that area. Okay, I'm stopped, which is cool. It's fine. So this could be a buy since we had a shit ton of selling, which was at 284 order, and it didn't move at all. So it could be a big buyer here. But we'll see, because the things you gotta consider is this is a break of the downward movement, or retracement to pick up the orders who don't want to be in the downward movement, and then a continuation to the downward movement. So now we're here in a support area, so this could be a break into that, and then continuation to the downside, because this is the break, retest, continuation. Let's see. And in the 5-minute perspective, there's a indecision candle, and since candles are fractal, that's the majority overall move is from the bigger window, or the bigger candle, I guess. So it's going to be kind of tough here in terms of finding the right play, because we're in the 5-minute perspective overrides the 1-minute perspective. We need to see which way we go. It's probably going to move down now that we broke, retested, broke, but it broke in the same area. So this is pretty strong area of volume. So this might be a support. Very strong support, maybe. Yes. Let's try a small one. What's up, Jameer? Denoif. We are, you missed a really big downward play and a really big upward play. It was very nice, very nice. And we caught them. WSG, what does that mean? Does that mean what's good? If so, what's good, my man? Hello, smiley face, sunglasses guy, person. Hades, what's up? Nice, bro. I think you can, I'll show it to you guys. Had the sell here. Sold there, bought here, all the way up here, sold that position, bought here, ended up and closing it here. Don't mind me, don't mind that. That was the chop. This gray area is what you're talking about, Jameer? Yeah, I think we might go down. We are in upward trend though, and this this aggressive seller sold their positions to a buyer, so we might be going towards the upside for a 21.916 here. I'm just keeping this tight because if it does break through this, then it might be a really big, fast drop. Yeah, so how you want to read this is that, I don't know how long you've been here, but that's why it's called a New York Stock Exchange, is because you're exchanging between your positions. So if you want to buy, someone has to sell you that buy, and if you want to sell your position that you're now currently bought, you have to sell it to somebody who wants to buy it there. That's why it's an exchange, a foreign exchange. For futures, it's CME, which is Chicago Mercantile Exchange. So you're exchanging all the time. It's always one-to-one. So in this chart, in the book map, an aggressive seller is red and aggressive buyer is green. And you, as a non-bank user, you're the aggressive buyer or aggressive seller. That's when you push the buy market button. So when someone aggressively sells, that means they're aggressively selling that position to someone buying, right? So this looks like someone bought one because they bought it here at this level and we didn't break that. And so now we're moving up, right? So this could be a big buyer holding this position or this area up. And so therefore we might have more bias to the upside because this buyer is holding us up. And then so that, so only if this breaks, that person got out of their positions potentially in these small aggressive selling areas, in these smaller circles, they could be getting out of their order there. And this was like a 283 order when that happened. So there's 284 positions that he needs to get out of. And if he gets out of those, then it'll drop. But this guy's a buyer right now. So if we move past this level, then that means we're gonna drop, and it's gonna look like it's gonna drop pretty big because the next orders that are waiting are one below that, but also there's this emptiness here that'll just drop because one, well, it won't drop as fast because this is where the majority of orders are, but there's no current orders here waiting for us. So we have to like drop, then we'll drop into this area, and then there is one-sided buying here, so there's going to be some one-sided selling because these people who are bag holding, like if you bought here and you're bag holding still, you're going to see sellers in this area because this guy's going to want to sell once there's downward play movement here for him to get out, and for this guy to get out, for this guy to get out, for this guy to get out, because we're here now. He has to get out, so there's going to be red selling. He has to get out, there's red selling. He has to get out, there's red selling. This guy has to get out, there's red selling. So there's no more of the one-sidedness here, so that's going to consolidate here in this area once we get to this area. So I need to get out of this because this looks more of a sell. So we'll see if that occurs here, because now we're under trend, to see if we move down and break through this level, and that's going to be the important part. If we break through it, then it's going to be pretty fast. Yeah, no problem, man. This is what's hard to understand because nobody really explains it very well, that it's an exchange. And for you to get out of your position, someone has to buy it off you, and then you have to sell it. But you're the aggressive seller because you're bag holding that buy. Hissing house. Oh, yeah, we'll see. If there is a bias now for that, because we're breaking the upward trend here, and there's not much of an upward trend in any other kind of format. So we'll see. It is hard. This might be a bad place, though. We need to watch for it to break below this for a confirmed sell, because this thing called Camarilla levels is what I've been looking into using for quite a while. Oh, my camera just disconnected. Oh, looks like we're being held here, but these Camarilla levels are previous day high, previous day open and close, and previous day low. But in terms of Fibonacci, because for a quick explanation of Fibonacci has to do with predicting where volume occurred, like the 65, 61 for 50% level or whatever. If you look at, I can actually just show you guys how Fibonacci actually works. So Fibonacci actually works is predicting where volume's at. So the 61 level, or is this golden area? Is this the golden level? That's what they call it. So you could expect a retracement to this area because look, there's volume here. As you can see, this little area of blue picking up. So that's like the golden level, because the golden level occurs where volume's at. US 30, let's check ES. Yeah, for sure, probably holding us up. It's ES, which is US 30, pretty much. Yeah, I think it'll drop though, because this is like equal highs, and we're not moving past that. Even though there's a lot of buying, we're not moving up. Like I said, so this is the opposite of what we were looking at here. There's a lot of buying, but we're not moving up. So it's either going to be an explosion or it's going to move to the downside. An explosion to the top side or move to the downside. I don't know what that means. I don't trade those type of strategies, SMT or whatever. I don't know what that means. So are we selling or are we buying? Hissing House. What's your prediction? Were you in a sell? SMT, what does that mean? Suck my turtle? And we hit it, yeah, okay. Yeah, there's bias for the sell side, for sure. We're under trend. We broke the trend, but however, this big buyer is holding us up. So what we need to look for a confirmed downward play is below this, below where he bought. But from the 5-minute perspective, let me clear these. This looks like a buy. Remember what I said earlier? This box, you can expect an equivalent box when they move up. So that will coincide with this, so it's a pretty good buy opportunity. Well, kind of missed it, but we'll most likely reach this. I only trade volume. Exhaustion kind of comes with the terminology.
By 39.0.
See how it reached that equivalent move. So if you guys want like a pattern that occurs a lot, and this is how I guess from a lot of, I saw this from this white guy on YouTube. This consolidation and then like equal highs, equal lows, kind of like right here, equal highs somewhat. That's the pop that he always looks for in his YouTube channel. I forget his name. But to your question, yeah, I only trade volume and like candlestick price action looking behavior, because like absorption and exhaustion comes with the territory. Because like I said, this is, I don't know what this would be, but this would be an absorption of selling orders, because someone sold that and therefore it was handed off to a buyer. So it could either be absorption or exhaustion. I don't know which. I always get mixed up between the two, but that's just comes with the territory, with understanding that the market is an exchange and you have to exchange the order to someone else, and that's just buy or sell. If you're in a buy and you need to get out, so this, take for example the GameStop like rocket, you could not get out of your position at the top because no one was really wanting to keep buying. I mean, you can't sell at the top because people were still pumping the buy, because no one wants to sell it to you, or no one wants to buy at the top because you couldn't sell because it was really, really high. You couldn't sell your position because people were not trying to buy the top, so it was hard for you to get out. So that's kind of where it comes into the same territory of absorption, exhaustion, is, are we absorbing all of these orders in this area for us to continue, or are we exhausting some of these orders for us to continue to the downside? It just depends on, because it's like I said earlier, it's bilateral, so you can never really tell unless you know time and sales. Time and sales here is all the orders and when they were executed. And the one thing that none of the pattern terminology concept trading strategy people don't tell you is that orders are executed for the most part first in, first out. So this person who just bought right here, this one order right here, it'll eventually get filled to someone once they're when there's a seller, or when he wants to sell, someone has to buy it from him, and someone has to, it has to go through all the other orders that were before him to get to him, and then he can execute his sell to someone. But since there's like a bajillion of that occurring at a mile a minute, then you can, it's not that fast, but you'll have to consider that when it starts to group, where people are grouping there. So like in a consolidation, they will be the first one to get out of their position when someone wants to, when they want to sell, and then someone wants to buy it from them. Since we're talking about buy, this green, someone bought here, so for this person to sell, we have to wait until the prior orders below us were exhausted for him to get sold out. In the ideal case. Oh, not looking at volume. Session accumulated. So if you, I've been training for like 2 years, and I did start with like ICT, but I never really completed the videos because, so I'm an engineer by trade, by education, so I need the math and not looking at like the patterns or whatever. Yeah, I'm profitable. I have a funded account, and I trade with my live account. But before that, I was trading ICT, and ICT doesn't really tell you, because ICT is like, I want to say it's marketing, but it's like a repackaging of old concepts that have always existed, which is like Elliott wave theory, volume, and whatnot. It's just a simplification of all of that, because like the normal trader doesn't have access to level 2 data, which is level 2 data is this, the order book. I hope so too, man. I hope so too. I gotta stay within the confines of the rules for the funded account. I remember losing my funded, yeah, Wyckoff theory. I lost my other funded account because I held an open trade at 4 something, and you can't leave your position open at end of day, and it automatically, I don't have that much, I didn't have that much capital to start with, so I started with prop firms, and I was living in Dallas, so that was kind of expensive. And then I got laid off because I was a PM, a product manager, not a project manager, for engineering. And those middle management guys are usually the first to get kicked off, because you can handle, one manager can be overworked, and that's how it is. But yeah, Wyckoff theory, multiple props, copy trading now. No, I'm with this Apex. I have a Top Step account that I need to pass, but I'm just using Apex because I'm on a 200 a 200K Apex account. Top Step was kind of hard because the loss limit was too low. You would actually have a higher chance of passing a prop firm with the biggest account and then trading it with like just one contract. So if we go back down here, we could be looking for a sell. We did reach R4, which is the reversal area, like prime area of reversal, and we've rejected off that. So now we need to see if we break below this where the buyer was to go to the downside, like completely. We're still following a trend, but this area, this 21.88 to 21.85 area is the consideration for a short. The gold area that I have marked at 9:15, you have marked 9:15, like the time. What's the gold area at 9:15? Oh, 9:15. Oh, 9:15 is this. There was orders here. We had absorbed that. Like, so these like orange, this heat map, these orange levels, that's where orders are pending. And I had 9:15 for a while before this happened. So this 9:15 area was picked up by this big buyer here, and that was where we were supposed to target. So that's what this is. So my level, if I would add this to 21.917, which coincides with the R4 level, 920, I'll just leave that, and then the 921.930 are where pending orders are at. So it would be the opposite direction of 21.890 as well, which is this level, which is this level where the buyer was, and then this is the bottom range of that, which is the 21.85. So that's the bottom range of this pending order, and then there's pending orders here, and this one would be the same as the opposite direction of this. So that's 21.840. So that was a previous support there. So all these levels are just pending orders. So if I were to mark everything, so there's pending orders at 890 going on, 86, 85, 82. They're being they're not being activated, but they're being limit sells here, as in pending orders. So I think that we are in this upward trend and we're breaking that upward trend, so we should be in a sell soon. Indecision. There's a lot of volume here, so this might be a sell. Kind of late, but right as it was coming in. Currently, like for today, get back for today. Let me see how I can do this. where's the... Isn't there a... Is it historical data? No, it's not. In general, probably like 60-70%. It's just that my stops are tight and more so near the action that's gonna happen because of the volume. So it kind of just explodes like earlier. So like earlier, I would say more lucky with the biases as we were breaking the trend and then kind of entered somewhere over here. And then, but one thing for sure is that when there's one-sided selling, there's got to be some buying to exchange those one-sided selling. So people are going to buy that up. And so I got in around here area because the volume was picking up at the very bottom here. So that means people are kind of like keeping it up in price. And the point of control started appearing in at the bottom here. And once we were above that, then I went into a buy with the white candle.
550.0.
Oh shit, we're not going to be sold here. We're going to get stopped out. But yeah, so it was like more of a higher probability. I got stopped out a couple times. Yeah, I got stopped out a couple times to get into this, but it was more of a high probability because the volume picked up at the bottom. Therefore, like people are like, gotta pick up the world, and then it went up pretty fast. But it was more logical because there was one-sided selling, so therefore those one-sided sellers need to get out of their positions, so need someone to buy it off them, so they're selling their sell position, and therefore we're taking those from the bottom. So you know, we make the difference from the price difference movement, so we're capitalizing on that exchange there. Yeah, my RR is pretty good. That was a pretty good one. That was like a $3,000 trade with so from here my idle TikTok verification went off. Hold on, I gotta move the slider. What was I saying? Yeah, my RR is okay because that movement there is usually what happens, because most of the time it happens in the morning, so like 9:30 ish to 9:45 ish. That kind of happens all the time, is like an upward movement, and then volume picks up at the upward movement in significant areas, and then you have the downward move to get to pick up those orders to pretty much settle them. A lot of buying, one-sided buying equals a lot of one-sided selling, because you want to sell your buy so you can get out of it. And then that usually happens in the morning. That's usually my first trade, is that. And then usually when you see that on the
sell 38.0.
Oh, someone's selling. When you see that in the order book of one-sided like selling, like as you can see here, very, very one-sided selling. You just a lot of one-sided selling. That means someone sold here, like they're in a sell position. Like let's say that was us, because we were right here. I think this was us, so we're basically this aggressive seller holding our position all the way down. And then there was a lot of buying because one, people were smart and they were trying to get their profits, so they had to get out. So then you'll start to see buyers come in for people selling their, like us, we were in a sell position, so we have to get out of our position at the bottom, so someone has to buy it from us. So there you'll see aggressive buying in these green bubbles, And then so there's going to be a lot of up and down here because that's where the majority of people in a short will try to get out. So therefore it's going to consolidate and get a lot of buyers here. But then when we move up, when we start moving up, that's when you can see that there will always, most of the time, like 60% of the time, 100% of the time it works, is that these orders have to be settled. So like this person that sold here kind of break even now if they sold here, right? Because someone bought that position from them. Well, I got in with a mini. I got in with 2 minis down here. And so when that happens, so this person that sold here either sold it and someone bought it at the bottom, or now they're bag holding, right? So now they have to get out. So someone bought this person's sell, these people bought this person's sell, this person bought this person's sell, consolidated because these were big sell orders, so people were buying it up. But people might be thinking, hey, this might be a retracement, then continue down, so that's why there's consolidation. And then these orders have to be exited, so someone has to buy those, someone has to buy these positions. So when you see this type of movement in the market, it's almost always going to fill if you see the one-sidedness. Almost always. Almost always. That's why there's that V-shaped recovery, because people are getting out of their sell positions at either break even or in profit. So that's how you read the aggressive selling and buying type stuff. So we might get stopped here. Looks like a retracement into this area. Someone, the big buyer is just staying there. So we might actually see this get touched. But we're currently below trend, so we are gonna stay the course and see what happens. A drink. There is more of a bias, I think, for the sell side because of this big like push downward. And we're below the trend. So it is lunchtime in terms of the in-office day traders, so there might not be executing orders for the banks, but there is a gap here. So you see this, you see these little mountains and then this mountain. So this is the equivalent pair, right? That's why we're consolidating here, because people are buying and selling and handing off and buying off other people. But if we get below this, you see how there's like a valley here? That's what you would consider a true fair value gap. These valleys. So if we dump from here, we need to move past this, like the point of no return, where the steepest part of the valley is. We will move to at least 21.870 is the consideration there, because that's where the majority of orders are previously existing. So people are still potentially bag holding here. So we gotta see if we're gonna dump. So 21.891 ish, 892, the below this wick would be like point of no return. But damn, we're now in an upward trend. As you can see, we're upward trending. So this might move all the way up to here to point of control, which is where the majority of orders are, and potentially move down. But it hurts to wait. It hurts. So we do have orders at 21,905, 21,910, 21,905, 910. That's going to stop us out if we move to the upside. Which this looks very strong candle. But we have to look at this area of transactions. So we're above this, so this is very bad for us. Very bad for us. You see how it's like spiking now? There's volatility because orders are kind of scattered in this area. Damn, we should have bought. We should have bought. We should have bought. Because now it will most likely move us up here if we stay above this previous high. Because there's majority orders here. A lot of orders are picking up. Move up to the top. It's going to be a big buy here. Kind of late though for us. Should have bought here because it broke and stayed above this area of previous support. I mean, yeah, previous support turned resistance, turned support. This is we're kind of late. We're too late. The buyer kept us up here. So our support is this block there. We are late to the party. Thanks, Julio Scamper, for the follow. Did I get diamonds? I got some gifts. I don't even see that. Shit, sorry for whoever gifted me diamonds. Thank you. So we're late to this party. So yeah, so this golden area you were asking about, that's the previous orders that were sitting here. So we're here now. Gotta move up to where this guy picked up. So we might see some selling, aggressive selling here to maybe fill this guy if he didn't get out in here. So this level here is our R4 level, which is a very, very high opportunity for a reversal. So if we reach this, I'll look for a sell in this area. But if we do go past that, then it's kind of a new frontier because I don't have R5 or R6 with this indicator. But R4 is usually the highest probability out of all of those levels for a reversal. And that is our Camarilla levels that I'm talking about. So if you want to Google that, you could Google that. So we're at this upward trend projection. That's why we wicked off of that. And we are in this upward trend as well. So this is a buy. This candle looks like it's a buy from here. Just a short one. We'll see. We'll see if it moves up. 5-minute candle close pretty strong. We're in a new 5-minute candle. So we'll see if we have to fill the bottom of this candle or continue upward. Fill the body of this candle, I mean. So you can see there's a gap. This fair value gap, this candle here has to do with volume. The volume picked up, dropped off, there's very little volume, and there's volume here. So that's your fair value gap with volume into consideration. So if you look at Fibonacci here, from the low to the high, where's your golden level at? Where volume is. Right? Can't really see. How do I delete it? See how that's the 61 level, the golden level? That's where volume is, so then that would be your retracement, right? Fibonacci. So if you can see volume, it makes more sense. So we weren't in the buy, kind of a double top here. This was like the reversal candle, so we did pop up a little bit. That's where my buy was biased for, but we went down. Time and sales, I guess. We are bouncing off this. I would still be sell biased. Let's see. This will be a small one. Volume's picking up here. We need to be below here to get back into the volume here for that Fibonacci area of the golden zone. This looks like a reversal candle, but also an indecision candle. We need to see where the next candle goes. It's green though. Interesting. So if this closes white, then that's not good for a sell. So we need to wait for this closure. It's a long time for 20 seconds. 30 seconds is a long time. If we do close black, that's a good dump to this area at least. The volume is picking up here, I guess for this area here. And there's more buying here than this area. So there might be a stop out here. We're still sell biased. That's why we're holding. It's very low probability though, since we're near zero for it to flip. But we are under this upward trend projection, so we should maybe stay downside. Kind of scary because this is very low number. And also we're in an upward move here because 5-minute candle closed very strongly upward, passing the previous peak. So this could be a reversal or another one of those patterns that I was talking about. Where's that pattern? This. Another one of these. In a smaller version, we'll see. So there's a lot of indecision. no one wants to make a move, so the next like actual candle will decide that. But this might be filling this downside play for this, since we are rejecting that. But this could also be a break retrace, which we would have to retrace this area. This area is the retracement if we're breaking above that. Cool beans, we're in a sell. Like I said, this area is a support now, because this is where volume is. So if it's a true break retrace, we're retracing into this area to pick up volume. So we might reverse here if anything, but we need to break past it to get, you know, to fill the gap. This might be like that SMT or fair value gap type stuff into consideration, where people would probably have bought here to fill that gap and then buy like half of that. I think was the strategy, buy within half the thing, but there's no volume there, so you shouldn't buy there. Might get reversed on us because this is where the support area is. Let's just move it out the way. So if we dump, we want to look for the dump past here for a super dump. Volatility because orders are scattered. We want a super dump. We want to super dump. Okay, so this will be a support area, so we're gonna struggle past this or reverse. So we'll see. That's why we're moving up and down here. As you can see, the orders execution here. So we gonna keep going through.
Sell 36.0.
Someone sold 36 orders. So how many of the 283 is remaining? Might not be so much, but we're now in a support area, so we need to see us go through here. That's like I said, because that big buyer used to be here. I don't know if he's still here, but his orders held us up here, so that's the support. We're still sell bias, but like I said, this is a strong support area because of that big buyer. So if we bounce off here, that's kind of whack. So we'll be in this area because this is where support was, because we rejected off this area a couple times, turned into a support, rejected off that, turned into resistance, turned into resistance. Now it's a support. So this is why we are wicking into this area, because these are where orders are. So remember, there's bag holders, they need to get out of their position. So now we're fulfilling these time and sales, first in, first out. These guys were first in, they need to be first out when they need to get out. So we're probably fulfilling people in this area to fulfill these people trying to transact in this area. So we need to kind of have like a moving slider of orders here. Someone picked up orders here though, very big. So 21,905 is where our stop should be above, because 21,905 is where orders are picking up. So we might pick up these guys and then go up, which then will stop us out, but or go down if that's where people are continuing the downside play. But we're in the support and resistance channel now. This is why, like I said, we're gonna move up and down here because of this. Okay, that's a good sign. Price moved up and then went back down, closed below, but there's a probability of the upside still because it moved up. People wanted to go up, so there's more down than up in terms of this up down movement. But now we have to wait to see if we get stopped out of this 21,905. 21,905. bring us down. 21,905. Okay, 21,905 is kind of filling. It's now yellow. Needs to be blue. There's more orders still popping up. It's gonna stop us out. So there's this fair value gap. Are we gonna reverse here? This is where volume is. So maybe we're gonna reverse here. Since we filled this one, this gap, and then this gap created to fill this gap, but this gap is not created, so there's more orders here than there was here. So now let's see if the remaining orders continue towards the downside. Jameer, thanks for following. So let's see if that is the fair value gap reverse type joint. So maybe that's a kind of like a reversal candle looking thing. It's a strong support though. It's very slow since we're at the other half of the day. Volume dropped, so we have around like average 4,000, 5,000 at a given time, whereas in the morning we are up 10, 12,000 volume. So we're now at the drop off of volume, so things are going to be really slow, and I should end it for the day. So we'll see where this trade goes. So if we do pass 21,905, then we'll fill this and get stopped out probably. We're still buying potential, so we are. That was a strong support here for sure. So hopefully this turns into a resistance for us to continue the downward play. Okay, we're stopped. That was a strong support area. As you can see by the majority of the orders were like accumulating here. Thus, hence support from the bottom up perspective. Right here, a little bit of one-sided selling. If this is what you're looking at right here, yes. But that could be filling this one-sided buying, right? But the circle size kind of takes into consideration as that as well. So there's a little bit of buying here and a big buyer here, but there's also a big seller here. So this could be him getting out. This seller could be like the remaining of those orders. So there's more selling here. So someone bought this. I should be looking at that. Someone bought this, so therefore now this is like a buyer, right? Someone sold to a buyer here. So that, and then it went up, so therefore you could kind of assume it is a buyer. So our trade was pretty much negated at this point. We should have been out here. I wasn't even looking at that, so I was just looking at price action here, but I should have been looking here. That was a good catch. But yeah, so that one-sided buying was this one-sided selling, but how many is remaining? So I guess there's more of a buyer here, more of a seller here. Now we're buying and it's moving up, so we're probably gonna move up there. Kind of late to the party, but there's this downward trend line forming. Ooh, that's a big one. That's a big one. So now it's reaching that R4 level, which was that golden area. that you were asking about earlier. So it might jump to this actually. Might jump up here, which is this 21,927, 21,930, this area. We'll see. I'm looking more towards the downside because this R4 is usually a reversal area, and while we wait, I'll show you what I mean. So this is our current day at 6 o'clock yesterday. This is previous day at 6 o'clock earlier. I gotta move it towards this side. See how it respected R3, went down. So this other day, it's gonna change. It's gonna change. Did it not change? Is that as far as it can go? Yeah, it looks like that's as far as my indicator goes, but levels are very important. Levels. S3, that's a support, so it bounced off that. That's the highest reversal, S3 and S4 for a support area. R3, reversed on R3, then it go test R4. So we're here at R4 was a significant area of action, reversed off that. This is probably most likely S5 in this area. I mean R5, I just don't have R5. So now we're in are we back R3? We're back here in R4 territory. So we did, I guess this was more of a fill for this gap, this big gap. So for now then, I'm even more biased towards the downside since this gap is filled and we are at R4. So we'll see if we reject off R4 to go down. So we'll see what happens. But we do have volume at 2930, so then this will be more of the area we'll be looking at.
By 31.0.
Break above or below this area. So this will be our resistance. Is this 2930 level? That'll be our resistance since we have one-sided buying. Where's the start of our one-sided selling? Looks like there's some selling going on. I'm gonna keep this very tight because if we move past it, it's gonna be pretty fast. The volatility is kicking in very, 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 very fast. And we are at the top of this upward trend projection. There's more volume above us, so this might actually like continue upside. We'll see though, but R4, we're past R4, but R4 will most likely coincide with this top of the volume with this volume here. So that's what we gotta consider as well. So we either bounce off this and then bounce up off the R4, or continue past R4 and go away, blast through R4 towards the downside. But you see how we respected that? We respected this. So we just need more sellers or more people getting out of their buy positions. There is still more like a buy bias, but it's kind of like inching downwards and respecting this level. So we're getting some sell-offs here, but we want to see big ones to match the size of these, at least in a way. Okay, so looks like whoever bought here, smart enough to sell some of their position up here. Very clean, sell off that rejection. So this area, we need to blow past this because this is R4 now. We're past R4. We're at R4. So then the volume that kind of coincides with R4 is this area where this blue is picking up, and this area picking up. So that's why we're kind of bouncing above, up and down here now. You see how it was picking up and picking up here. So we need more sellers. I guess I'll keep it a little bit looser here since I'm pretty much in a good position to have looser position or stop losses. So now hopefully the one-sided sell-off starts coming here to fill these orders. But these are small, getting bigger. Fill that, baby. What does that stop? Like 1 to 6 right now? I don't know the math. I just get the money. So this is a support. We need to blow past that with more orders. Support area, there's a high selling action going on. So we got to be careful now because this candle is now about to be equivalent to this previous white candle for the 5-minute perspective. So it could reverse on us here. So it might start to wick, it might start to open the wicks. See how it's wicking because we were at the equivalent of that candle. Now let's see if we break through that candle. And it's a support area, so we will be seeing some wicking action. Okay, so we are potentially moving below the support, but we're seeing buyers picking up here. It's where a little bit of green happening. But is it enough? So potentially someone sold up at where we were and sold their position. That's why probably there was a buy there. Someone's buying this support to see if we reverse from this support as a break, retest, and continuation, which could potentially be that since we're hovering at this area. We closed below, but there's volume that's keeping us here, so this might reverse. We got 1 minute on the 5-minute candle, so if we continue towards the downside and eat this candle, oh boy, oh boy. All right, let's eat. I'm talking about this 5-minute candle being eaten by this current 5-minute candle. So this one-sided buying is now one-sided selling. So we are now looking to possibly be the finish of this move, because this is where the biggest one was starting at. But there might be more action going to the downside from here, but this is now actually like a support area, so might stop and reverse here. But this candle closed pretty strongly to the downside on the 5-minute perspective. You got in at the top as well, Jameer? Good shit, good shit. Yeah, we might be reversing here because this is a support, but there's still some more on the left side here, just more buyers that need to get out of their position. So this person, whoever's staying here, is a bag holder at break even. That's how you got to look at that. and there still might be hope for somebody because they're trying to buy this up. It looks like we're trying to buy it up as a support, and our volume is above here. This is where it kind of started. There's the thickest, or the most blue, I don't know how to say that, most blue is up here. So that's, if we reverse up here, then we'll start up there. But this is where our stop should be, is outside of the outside of the volume, to prevent us from being in the volatility of this execution ordered execution. It's a tongue twister. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is a pullback. It's a pullback. This might be the pullback. Yep, one-sided selling, but there's a buyer here at a significant support area. That's what happened here, but we had more orders to fill in this one-sided buying area that was most likely transacted and completed here. That's why we're up here now. So now we have to fill this one-sided selling to see if there's any remainder of the people that are still bag holding the sells in this area. But I think I'm done for the day. I think 8K is good for this day today. Hopefully you learned something. Thanks for the hat, Jameer. I just saw that. I don't want to like be ungrateful. I'm kind of looking at the chart while you're giving me some kind of gift here. But thanks for the hat. This is like my first day getting gifts. Yeah, you're welcome. This is what I look for, is mostly volume, because that's where you'll see where it's being transacted. And if you understand that a buy needs to be sold to somebody, you'll see a seller, and for someone to buy, you need someone to sell it to you. So if you can keep that in mind and you look at the charts, that's why if you ever hear the zero-sum game, that's what it is. Like, someone's always holding the bag as a pair. Everything is a pair in the exchange market. Everything is a pair. For you to get out of your pair, someone has to buy it off you to become a pair. But yeah, thanks, Jameer. Thanks for whoever gave me these gifts. And I don't know where the diamonds come from. And, oh, thanks for the confetti too, bro. I don't know what this diamond is. I'm just kind of recording this as, for me, for myself, kind of like a trading journal, and for me to be able to speak on it. Because if you can speak on it, then you could kind of know what you're doing. But there's also randomness to this, so it sometimes doesn't look like I know what I'm doing, but I have a probability. It's probability. But thanks to everybody. Jameer, Jomar, Orlando for staying on. I am ending the day. Let me just put this text here to end the live. I always try to make 1,000 for the day. That's my goal. But I am stepping up with 2 contracts. So today is an $8,000 day. Have a good day, everybody. Daily goal was 1,000 and we are 8,000. See you tomorrow.